Blackman was the National League batting champ last season. LeMahieu, the former Cub. Nolan Arenado, one of the best players in the league. Trevor Story's at short. Cargo is back. He re-signed with the Rockies earlier this month. Gerardo Parra is in left. Pat Valaika plays first. Tony Walters is the catcher. And John Gray, the pitcher, will hit ninth.
Cubs defensively this evening will feature an outfield of Kyle Schwarber, Jason Hayward, and Ben Zobrist. Infield, familiar faces all the way around the diamond. Bryant, Russell, Baez, Rizzo, third to first. Victor Caratini will be doing the catching tonight. And 28-year-old left-hander Mike Montgomery will take the start. This will be his sixth appearance this spring. This will be his second start. He's 0-1 with a .591. Mike last season, 7 up, 8 down, with a .338 earned run average. He made 14 starts, also 30 appearances out of the bullpen.
That is Shane Livensparger, and he's the home plate umpire. Ed Hickox, Nick Marley, and John Bacon are on the bases. So Blackman will lead it off. And oh, by the way, Ian Happ has just hit another leadoff home run. This time off Felix Hernandez of the Mariners in Peoria. So he's hit 7 homers this spring. And update our graphic. We're underway. Montgomery to Blackman. That is a strike to get us started. The 0-1 is hit on the ground. And an easy play for Javi Baez.
Well, that's what you get when Mike Montgomery's on the mound. He's an extreme ground ball pitcher. About 60% of the balls put in play against him last year were on the ground. Very valuable piece. On the Cubs pitching staff, he made a comment this offseason heading into spring training about wanting to be in the starting rotation. That is not the plan right now, but he's a versatile guy. He's been good out of the pen in his career. He's a good swing man. He can give you multiple innings out of the bullpen, and should somebody go down or falter, he would be in line to move into that rotation.
Former Cub DJ LeMahieu swings and misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. Career .302 batter. Not a lot of power. And plays excellent defense. He's won 2 Gold Gloves.
Made his second All-Star team last year. Due to be a free agent at the end of the season. Likewise with Blackman. We're going to hook him right here.
So split squads tonight. Over in surprise tomorrow afternoon against Kansas City. And then the Cubs are off to Fort Myers, Florida to play the Red Sox. Monday evening, Tuesday afternoon, and then an off day Wednesday in Miami before the season starts Thursday. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I will repeat this likely on Thursday, but did you know?
No. March
29th, the Cubs and the Marlins will play the first game of the season. Yep. It'll be the earliest start in terms of date in Major League history outside of international opening days.
I did not know that.
And that will be an early start. 11:40 a.m. first pitch, Chicago time.
And 2 or 3 minutes later, Ian Happ will have started the season with a home run.
Feels like if
he brings his Cactus League game with him to Florida.
And 5 of his 7 home runs have led off a ball game, including the last 2 days. Good battle here, Montgomery and LeMahieu. Nolan Arenado on deck, just getting started tonight.
That's a high one.
It's Ben Zobrist. Wind pushing that ball back toward the wall a little bit. 2 down.
I wonder if anybody has ever hit the first home run of a Major League season out of all the teams, and also hit the last home run in the World Series. That's my early prediction for Ian Happ.
I'm going to guess it has never happened. Here's Arenado.
He looks trim.
He does.
He might be in the best shape of his life.
What would you rather have if you could only have one, his defense or his offense?
Oh, man.
So he'd have to be average at the other thing. He's really good at both.
Yeah, I'd probably rather have the bat, but from a fan's point of view, I like to watch him play defense.
Or the outside corner, 2 balls and a strike.
Well, we got 2 of the best in the business here tonight, maybe the 2 best. Third baseman with Arenado and Bryant.
Now 3-1. He's due to be a free agent following next season. And earlier this month said he and the Rockies will not discuss a contract extension until after the season.
.309 last year, 37 home runs. He drove in 130. Previous 2 seasons, he led the league in runs batted in. One thing he doesn't do, the one thing that's lacking from his game is patience. He doesn't walk a lot.
That's foul.
As exhibited there. That ball probably down out of the zone. When he first came to the big leagues, he was really hacking. He's become a little bit more patient, but again, still that's you don't see all that often from Arenado.
Ooh, this time he takes the walk on borderline. So 2-out free pass, and now the shortstop Trevor Story. And the story on the Rockies shortstop is, will he start like he did as a rookie a couple of years ago, or last year when he hit a .155 over his first 29 games? He drills that one out in the left center. Arenado will get the third, and they're at the corners for Gonzalez. Yeah, Story 2 years ago hit 2 homers on opening day in his major league debut, and boy, if he gives them what he did 2 seasons ago, this offense will be great.
Yeah, they're going to score a ton of runs. They always do. And the Story punched out 191 times last year, most in Major League Baseball. So the league certainly made an adjustment from year 1 to year 2 on Trevor Story. Now the question is, can he in turn make an adjustment and put the ball in play a little bit more often?
Well, Carlos Gonzalez, first pitch swinging. Rizzo can't get it. Baez will, and that'll end the inning. So Montgomery with a 2-out walk and a double, but no runs allowed. Rockies nothing. Cubs coming up from Mesa Park this spring. Cubs 9 wins, 3 losses, 3 ties. Here at home, Zobrist will lead it off. He's in right. Bryant, Rizzo, Schwarber, who just ended a 12-game hitting streak yesterday, Russell, Hayward, Baez. Victor Caratini is on the opening day roster. More on that later. And Mike Montgomery hits 9.
Rockies defensively, very good. They've got Gold Glovers scattered around the diamond. Parra's won a couple. Blackman's in center. Cargo's won 3 Gold Gloves. Arenado, he wins one every year. Story, LeMahieu, Valleca, Walters, and Big John Gray on the mound.
They have not yet named an opening day starter, but their opening game is against Arizona 5 days from today. So if you do the math, it'll be John Gray for the 2nd consecutive season.
Yeah, in all likelihood, Gray's going to be the guy. 10-game winner last year. He only made 20 starts. He missed a couple of months with a broken bone in his left foot.
the dirt on Zobrist, who's moved around defensively. You've seen him in the corners in the outfield, second base, and a little first base just in case. Good location on that fastball, and he throws hard. That was at 96.
Yeah, he's comfortably right around 96 miles per hour. 6'4", 230.
Two bouncer to LeMahieu. And this will be a fun matchup. Two of the top picks from the draft in 2013. Mark Appel went #1. Right-hander to the Astros. Chris Bryant taken by the Cubs, and then John Gray selected by the Rocks.
Mark Appel currently is out of baseball.
Line shot, center field, and down for a hit. So Bryant is the first Cub to reach tonight.
Trying to go down and away with a fastball. This catches a good chunk of home plate. And a nice pass at it by KB, who carried a .333 batting average for the spring into this plate appearance. Chris looks to me a little beefier, a little thicker this spring. Stronger.
Anthony Rizzo fouls away. We wanted to note that Anthony and his foundation, they've teamed up with Fanatics to host an auction in which every cent donated will go directly to the victims of the Stoneman Douglas tragedy. That's where Anthony went to high school in Florida. The auction ends tomorrow. FanaticsAuctions.com. And there are a lot of really cool items. Close play at first, and they got him. So Bryant picked off by John Gray.
I don't think Chris ever got back to the bag. He was leaning. He was going to go, and quick feet, good throw. Valleca with a pick and a tag, and yeah, Chris never made it back.
So just like that, 2 outs. And fouled straight back, and the Marlins have announced that the Cubs and the Marlins, this opening 4-game series in South Florida next weekend, both teams will wear patches on their uniforms, an MSD patch with 17 stars on it. A nice gesture by Major League Baseball. Gray gets through the first with no runs allowed, and we're scoreless after 1.
Welcome back. Scoreless after an inning of play. Everybody is in. Rizzo, Bryant, Javi, Kyle, and the rest of the boys are getting ready. Training for another shot at October Glory. Be a part of it all season long at Wrigley Field, starting with opening day. A limited number of tickets are available for the home opener Monday, April 9th. Act quickly before they are gone. Get your tickets now at Cubs.com.
So glad you joined us tonight, and once again, and we've said it a lot, congratulations to the Loyola men's basketball team. They're in the Final Four. Can you believe it?
Ramble on. It's got to be the Cinderella story in the history of that tournament.
So they'll be playing on the final weekend.
You know, the final chapter hasn't been written yet.
It has not. Gerardo Parra had right hand surgery in February. Grounds out. And it'll bring up Pat Valleca, the younger brother of former Cub and current minor league hitting coach Chris Valleca. So with Carlos Gonzalez returning, that's moved some parts around. Ian Desmond will likely play a lot of first base. Here's the pitch. That's hit a ton, but it's going to stay in. Schwarber right in front of the warning track. 2 down.
Rockies with a very aggressive approach here tonight. Swinging at that first pitch quite often. Blake had a nice year. Part-time role last year. Hit 13 home runs. Batted .258.
Bud Black.
Or Harry Ralston Black, if you prefer.
Friends call him Buddy. Tony Walters having a nice spring. Chris Iannetta is back in a Rockies uniform.
Not for nothing, but reading the Rockies clips today. It was sent over by the great Warren Miller. Chris Iannetta's been hit by 6 pitches this spring. That seems like a big number, doesn't it?
Huge number.
Must have he decided he wanted to work on that this winter.
Tony Walters started his pro career as a shortstop. Began catching in 2013. It's a story you hear a lot. Victor Caratini, catching for the Cubs, was an infielder originally. So was Wilson Contreras. So that tells you we don't have enough natural catchers in our game. 2-2, swing and a miss. Good breaking ball by Mike Montgomery, and we'll go to the last of the second. 0-0. Downtown Phoenix, the Cactus League. Weather's been generally pretty awesome here since we got here in late February. And another gorgeous night here tonight, 79 degrees. We'll chat with Joe Madden in the third inning as he talks it over with bullpen coach Lester Strode. There's Kyle Schwarber to lead it off.
Lester must be the acting pitching coach tonight.
I'm guessing Jim Hickey is over in Peoria. I saw Jim. I talked to him earlier. I didn't ask him if he was here or heading on the road.
Eddie Butler's pitching over there tonight.
2 balls, no strikes to Schwarber.
We talked about the power arm of Gray, the 96-mile-an-hour fastball, the wipeout slider. We've seen that. He's starting to mix in his curveball a little bit more last year or so.
In the air to left, back now in. Former Gold Glover Gerardo Parra has won a Gold Glove at both corner spots.
Folks, order a game-used baseball or base from Wrigley Field's home opener. Cubs Authentics is now accepting pre-orders for items from opening day and the regular season. For pricing and information, email CubsAuthentics@Cubs.com. Proceeds benefit the Cubs Charities Diamond Project.
Now the shortstop, Addison Russell, and he swings through a fastball. .361 this spring.
Sometimes folks come to a spring training game and they don't see a lot of star power, but both teams fielding pretty representative lineups tonight. Matter of fact, between the two starting lineups, there have been 20 all-star games competed in. Russell was an all-star in 2016.
Did you do that math yourself?
I did, yeah.
How long did it take?
Just a few minutes. Figure we're close to opening day. It's time to do some hard digging.
Jason Hayward on deck.
He was an all-star in 2010. His rookie year with the Atlantas.
Russell strikes out. Punch out number 2 for Gray.
That was the curveball there. Pretty nasty here from Gray. Rockies pitched well last year. We talked so much about their offense, and there's always the debate about the impact of Coors Field, how it inflates the numbers. So you have to give their pitchers credit when they perform well, and they really did last season.
Knocked down by Gray. The ball probably would have been fielded by the shortstop Story, who was playing behind second, but the Cubs go down in order in the second. Another sellout here at Sloan Park. And we never take it for granted here. The Cubs have drawn over 200,000 fans this spring in 15 dates. And will end up averaging right around or above 14,000 per contest. One strike on the pitcher, Gray. Make it 0-2.
Pretty healthy hack there.
Yeah, Rockies have a weird schedule. They actually stay here in Arizona. They'll have an off day Monday. They'll play one last Cactus League game on Tuesday. They'll be off Wednesday, and then they open the season Thursday night at Chase Field against the Diamondbacks. Then they're off Sunday. They play Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and actually have an off day Sunday. There are a few teams that will not play next Sunday, which is very odd.
Yeah, you never have a Sunday off, but with the extra off days built into the schedule this year, that has changed the starting point of the season, and I think that's what's created that schedule oddity.
That Sunday, by the way, is Easter and is April Fool's Day, April 1st. A spinning move by Bryant to get John Gray.
Are you in charge of planning your next social gathering? Plan a day or evening at Wrigley Field. Enjoy special perks only available inside the ballpark. The Cubs offer special ticket packages for groups of 15 or more. Visit Cubs.com/groups. You can't request the berm. You can have the bleachers, but you can't have the berm.
Blackman put together quite a year last year. He set a Major League record for RBIs by a leadoff hitter. Knocked in 103 from that spot. He was the 11th Rocky to win a batting title in 25 years, by the way, at .331. Led the majors in plate appearances, hits, triples, total bases, and runs. And because of that run production, there is a possibility he might move down in the order at times. Buddy Black talked earlier this spring about maybe hitting him third. And he's got a cool beard. Three and one the count. Rolled into center. He's 1 for 2.
Hi, DJ.
Here comes LeMahieu. He flied to right in the first inning. Every year I update the home road splits for the Rockies in their franchise history just because it's so interesting to look at.
Yeah.
The Rockies' all-time home batting average is .307. On the road, it's .243. The biggest difference is batting average on balls in play. The batting average on balls in play is .339. The major league average since 1993 is .298. So you add 41 points to your batting average just by putting a ball in play
yeah.
at altitude.
And that's, we talk about Trevor Story, who led Major League Baseball in strikeouts last year. It's really important for him to take advantage of that, just find a way to put the ball in play more often. And again, it's not to diminish what these Rocky hitters have done over the years, but there's clearly a huge advantage for hitters in that ballpark. So when you start talking about batting titles and things of that nature, you almost need like two divisions. The batting champion and then the non-Rocky division batting champion.
3-1. How many starts will Mike Montgomery make this season? Well, in some ways you hope it's not very many, right? Because you want those top 5 guys to be really healthy, but even if they are, there's still a pretty decent chance he'll make a handful of starts. He made 14 last year, plus 30 out of the bullpen.
Yeah, the likelihood that you go through the entire season 1 through 5 in your rotation healthy is not very high, and there's going to be times when guys are coming off high pitch count outings, and there's been a string of days without an off day where it's going to make sense just to slide another starter into the mix and buy everybody a little extra rest. So valuable last year coming in behind right-handed starters. A guy goes out, gives it up a little bit early on, and Mike could come out of that pen and give you 3-4 innings.
It's ball 4. Well, we were talking yesterday on the radio that the new paradigm of the multiple inning reliever, and Mike definitely fits into that category, and I don't think Joe would have any problem using Mike in a 1-run ball game, pitched the 7th and the 8th. He got the final out of Game 7 and the 10th.
Yeah, he's been in high leverage situations. He's done a little bit of everything, and if you have a right-handed starter and the other club's got a bunch of left-handed bats in the lineup, and you get Mike in there in the middle innings, it really creates issues for the opposing manager.
Two on with 1 out. Scoreless tie, 3rd inning. Swing and a miss.
Slow curveball. Catches Arenado out in front. He walked last time.
After you said he doesn't walk.
After I said he didn't walk, yeah. On what could have been called a strike.
So what is he not going to do this time?
He's not going to bounce into a double play.
Okay.
That's a 92-mile-an-hour sinker. We talked about Montgomery and his ability to get ground balls. He does it a couple of ways. The sinker and a good curveball, both real good ground ball pitches for him.
I think we've come up with a new broadcast term, anti-analysis.
The anti-prediction.
Montgomery looking for that put-away pitch here against Nolan Arenado.
Guys who like to swing it even more when there's men on base, especially in scoring position. Can Montgomery exploit that? Hey, you mentioned Loyola earlier. They're going to the Final Four. We need to get Sister Jean out to sing the stretch. I think that would be a highlight of the year.
That'd be awesome. My guess is that is being worked on. thumped foul off the sidewall.
Quick Matt. He's a high energy guy, Arenado. If you watch him play, he's always moving, very twitchy. And he's got very quick hands. You see it at the plate and in the field. A little slow backdoor curveball. Might get the chase.
Well, he got him. Like a fastball. No, he didn't.
Yeah, hit the dirt. I think it hit the dirt. Yeah, bounced into the mitt. Victor tried to sell it, but Shane Lievensparger.
Blackman at second base. Mayhew at first. Baez with some cool white shoes. Some high tops on.
He's always styling.
Two and two. Kyle Hendricks slated to throw tomorrow. Final tune-up for Game 2 of the regular season on Friday in Miami. There it is. On the ground, and the throw will go to first. Second and third, 2 outs.
He got his ground ball, but just not in the right spot with enough pace on it to get 2. But a nice play by Russell, having to make that long throw. I think a cutter got in on his hands, induced that weak contact. KB can't get there, and Russell just not really able to step into that throw. Good to see him turn it loose like that. He had issues. He's had issues in his career throwing from time to time, and last year had a bit of a fatigued shoulder.
Steve right one on Story.
Steve Cishek, Carl Edwards, Pedro Strop, and Kyle Ryan all slated to see action on the mound for the Cubs tonight.
Yeah, the Cubs want to make sure Pedro Strop is okay. Got with a calf issue. This will be his second Cactus League outing. He hasn't been able to throw through the injury, just not in a big league game. There's Marty Peavy. He'll be back at Iowa this year and is the iCubs manager. 2-1, Story taps foul. John Lester threw in a minor league game earlier today. Wilson Contreras was his catcher. Threw almost 60 pitches in 3 innings. Next time he faces an enemy, it'll be on Thursday in Miami. Montgomery working hard here in the 3rd inning. Two. Down the left field line, but he was out in front.
Yeah, good idea. The execution maybe not what Mike wanted to do there. They threw him that changeup, and it stayed up in the zone a little bit. Wants this one fading down out of the zone, and it stayed up above the knees. Had a couple opportunities in this inning to put guys away, and just hasn't been quite able to, whether it's bounce the breaking ball, elevate the fastball.
Russell ranging to his left. Got by Rizzo. And we return last of the third. We'll chat with the skipper, Joe Madden. Cubs batting in the third. Javier Baez will lead it off. We have a headset on the manager, Joe Madden, from the dugout. Hi, Joe.
Hey, guys. What's
Hey,
up?
Joe.
What's up?
Well, just before we went on the air, I'm checking the other game, and Ian Happ led off that game with a homer off Felix Hernandez.
We heard about it before we came on the field. It did surprise us. There's a nice swing right there. That was good. Chili's been working on him with a couple different things. That was really good.
So one pitch and one out. Yeah, I mean, the spring Happ has had.
Yes.
Ridiculous.
Well, he came in great shape, as you've been around a little bit here. Really kind of on the thin side in a good way, but still strong as ever. Running around really well in the outfield. He's a good runner to begin with. But beyond that, at the plate, a little bit more discipline I'm seeing out of him. I'm seeing shorter to the ball, 2 strikes, better adjustments. And, of course, the power's there. Listen, he's got that kind of power. Talked about it last year when he hits the ball on the screws, man. It goes out quickly and far. So that doesn't surprise. It's just the rapidity, the consistency with it right now is a little bit different.
Caratini going to be on the opening day roster, and you've got Chris Jimenez, AAA, and decent chance we would see Chris at some point this year, right?
Oh, yeah. Really good. 2 very fine options for us. Caratini, the younger of the 2, part of his development is going to be with this. Probably on the bench a lot. With Wilson being well, you're not going to see Victor out there a whole lot in the beginning part of the season. And it's something we have to be mindful of as we're moving it along. It's tough enough getting everybody else in the lineup, but got to get another good young catcher in there too. So when I sit in the morning with that cup of coffee trying to figure it out, it bothers me as a manager, developmental kind of a manager, to not play a guy like Victor often. So we'll try to figure that out.
Yeah, was there a change in philosophy as the spring progressed with the catching situation?
Not really.
Or
It's just open-minded.
Yeah.
It's an open-minded kind of thing. There was really in the case was nothing predetermined. I mean, absolutely there wasn't. Chris did great. I mean, Chris was really good. It's just that Victor did really well too. And again, the fact that we can keep them all moving. Part of it is developmentally speaking. Victor's had some really good numbers in the minor leagues, and we think that he's ready to play here. Having said that, I've already talked about the fact it's going to be tough to get him in and play with any kind of regularity. But I got Borzello. He's not sitting there right now, but he's going to be studying with Professor Borzello on a daily basis. And he'll sit in the dugout and he'll listen to all the strategy going on. So that could benefit him possibly as much as an at-bat can.
Yeah, he hit like 340 at AAA last year.
He can hit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really he's a very calm baseball player. He's got a great swing from both sides. He's really good behind the plate. The pitchers love him already. Let's see what we got. Slow down, Mikey.
Well, that was quick.
Hey, listen, guys. I've been very non-offensive right there.
No, all good, Joe. Thanks for the time as always. Hey, we'll see you in Miami. Can't wait.
Yes. See you guys soon. Take care. See you, Jimmy.
We're going to take some out of your check for that short appearance.
Nothing. Hey, Cubs fans, show your team pride with Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card. Only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Members FDIC. Thanks to Joe Madden for joining us. I was just thinking with that first shot, throw a blanket down, kick your shoes off, throw a headset on, call the game, maybe take a nap.
Oh, yeah. Good call. Let's plan on that next spring. Let's do a game from the berm. But we need a big umbrella for a day game. We can do a night game out there.
Gonzalez, cue shot toward Chris Bryant. And he throws him out. And it'll bring up Parra.
There is now action in the Cubs bullpen. I thought 3 might have been it for Montgomery here tonight, but obviously that's not the case. He's had to deal with some traffic, but he is not allowed to run yet.
Sends this one to deep center. And Hayward puts 2 hands on it. 2 quick outs here in the 4th. And it brings up Valleca. I didn't get a chance to follow up with Joe, but this last week here has been a little weird. We've had a bunch of split squads, including tonight. Some more night games added to the mix. So just a few bunt plays and things that Joe still wants to work on, and they've carved out a little time in Fort Myers before the game Monday night. But it feels like you have all this time to do all this stuff you need to get done, and all of a sudden you look at the calendar and you go, man, we start the season Thursday.
Yeah.
Curve for a strike, 75 miles an hour.
Valleca gave up on it, settled into the zone.
Ooh.
Could have been.
Where was it?
Snapped off another good one, maybe just a wee bit outside, but a quality pitch.
Changeup. Nasty. Might be it for Montgomery. Really good. Had to battle through. Welcome to our beautiful booth here at Sloan Park.
Backdrop.
Absolutely. I think everybody's ready to get this thing going for real.
Yeah, I am. Does this shot make me look bald?
No, not at all.
Yeah, no, we are ready. We talked to Joe, and unfortunately that half inning went like that, so we couldn't keep the conversation rolling. He had more important things to do. But, yeah, I mean, this has been a really good camp. The talk early in camp was about business as usual, the hangovers behind and all that good stuff. But that's the way it's played out. A lot of guys are having very good springs. Whether that translates into a good regular season, we don't know, but you'd rather be good than bad out here. Pitching has been outstanding. A number of hitters are having big springs. The club has been healthy pretty much throughout. A couple of nicks, but nothing significant. So, yeah, let's go. Let's play some real meaningful hardball, and we're just days away as Jake McGee enters the ball game for the Rockies. Spring numbers, 4 appearances, a 2.45 ERA for the hard-throwing southpaw.
Facing Ben Zobrist, and a strike called. Big story for the Rockies in the offseason. Bullpen additions. McGee was already a Rocky, but he re-signed. Brian Shaw and former Cub Wade Davis also brought in.
Well, we've talked a lot, and we had this conversation the other day about needing to have depth in your organization. Bullpen guys that you can pull up from AAA and rely on to bail you out over a stretch of games. And that really is important for the Rockies.
Rounded to third, and Arenado had that ball roll right up his glove. And Zobrist will end up at second base. And it is an error.
Yeah, something you don't see very often. An error by Arenado down there at third base. It's sharply hit. He's trying to play it on the backhand side. And it's a bit of a tough hop on him, but he can't flag it.
Bryant singled in the first and got picked off by John Gray. I told you last weekend he would homer before we left Arizona, and he did against the Rangers the other day. But then I said he would homer in Vegas.
Yeah,
so
I'm right.
1 for 2.
Nothing wrong with that.
That is a big league fly ball. Zobrist tagging, and he's going to stay there. A nice throw back in by Parra.
Pretty serious hang time on that one. Hey, folks, the 13th annual Race to Wrigley 5K charity run presented by ATI Physical Therapy returns to Wrigley Field on Saturday, May 6th. All participants will receive an exclusive Race to Wrigley shirt, drawstring bag, and a Race to Wrigley finisher's medal. Sign up today. Get training now. Register at raceToWrigley.com.
The pitch to Rizzo. Just missed for ball 1. How about this Rockies note? They're 12-14-2. They need to win all 3 of their remaining games or go 0-2-1 to extend their 13-season streak without a losing season in the Cactus League. Who knew?
Somebody. Apparently, yeah. Well, their wild card berth last year, the first time they've been in the postseason since 2009. It was the first winning season since 2010. Won 87 ball games last year.
That gets by, and Zobrist will advance to third, so that'll be a chance for Rizzo here if he can make some good contact.
Wanted to go in. McGee didn't feel comfortable with that, so he spikes it. It's just, you see that as lack of conviction. Didn't really want to make the pitch that Walters was calling for.
Rockies bring their infield in. Cubs trying to score a run here, possibly without a hit. That ball is way out of here. Number 3 for Anthony Rizzo, and it's 2-0.
Pretty impressive work by Anthony Rizzo off a tough left-hander. But he got the count in his favor, and he covers this one, boy. It is gone. Belt high. Out there where he can reach out and get extended.
So 2-zip. High to Schwarber.
We highlighted Kyle's big spring in our open. He was pretty solid in the second half last year. Had a real nice finish in September. Slugged .600 in the month of September. Hit 17 home runs after the All-Star break. That was most on the Cubs and tied for 5th best in the National League.
And when people say he had a bad year, he really didn't. He had a bad start.
Bad start. He hit into some tough luck. You were talking about that batting average on balls in play earlier. And there's an element of luck in that statistic, and his was well below league average. a little more good fortune. I think the key for Kyle is to not give up on that left center approach.
And we've seen, it feels like more balls hit to the opposite side.
Yeah, you know, he's strong enough to go deep in just about any ballpark, any part of the park. If you get a little too pull cautious, you know, with the shift, you end up bouncing into a lot of, you know, ground outs on the right side. So there's two ways to combat that, I guess. You know, try to improve your launch angle so you're just hitting the ball in the air more often, or try to stay inside the ball and use the big part of the diamond.
Anthony Rizzo with a booming 2-run homer. Two to Schwarber. Here's the pitch. Outside.
Biggie up to 95 miles per hour with that one. Typically throws a high percentage of fastballs.
Get out of play in the left field line. We don't know exactly what Joe Madden's opening day lineup will look like in Miami, but I think the best bet would be Happ, Bryant, Rizzo, Contreras, and then Schwarber probably number 5 ahead of Addison Russell, who's on deck. Foul tip, strike 3. So here's Russell with 2 outs. Rockies play Russell pretty much straight away on the infield against him. Shade to pull in the outfield. And ball 1. Broken bat liner right to LeMahieu. Cubs done in the 4th, but Anthony Rizzo got this sellout crowd going with a loud 2-run homer. Cubs lead 2-0. Hey, Cubs fans, the push for October starts right here on NBC Sports Chicago. Watch the Cubs preview show presented by Fields Auto Wednesday at 7, and get ready for the 2018 season with us.
There's a veteran right-hander, Steve Cishek, into the ball game. He's working for the 9th time this spring. Posted a 2.16 earned run average. And a very solid career. Looks like he's going over some notes there. Career best 2.01 ERA last year.
Walters and then pinch hitter Tom Murphy for the Rockies, and a strike.
Pounds the bottom of the zone with sinkers and sliders. Be
0-2.
A homecoming for Cishek when we head to Miami. That's where he started his career. He was with the Fish 2010 through 2015. That was during the 2015 season where he moved on to St. Louis. Last year, split time between Seattle and Tampa.
Couldn't get him to bite. 1-2. That hit the plate. Bounce to Cishek, and he'll make the play. Now Tom Murphy off the bench.
Mike Montgomery tonight, solid work, 4 innings, a couple of hits, no runs, a couple of walks, 3 strikeouts.
The National League West hit by some injuries. Justin Turner broke his wrist. Madison Bumgarner, Jeff Samardzija injured this week with the Giants. Steven Souza Jr. with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah. I'm hearing, 3 to 5 weeks on Samardzija, 4 to 6 weeks for Bumgarner. Chris Sale had to leave his game today.
Saw that.
Hit with a comebacker, hip contusion, so looks like he'll be okay.
I'm hurt.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Murphy. Well, missing Madison Bumgarner for any time is devastating for the Giants. And he's their ace. He got hurt last year, a dirt bike accident. And a lot of other things went wrong, but it certainly was not a good omen. Russell gets Murphy.
Got a lot on that throw, too. It's an encouraging sign the way he's turning it loose here. Yeah, the Bumgarner thing. Alex Cobb and Arrieta, had they held out, I wonder what kind of offers they might have gotten from the Giants. I don't know where the Giants are in terms of their payroll and what they'd be willing to pay for a free agent, but they've got to be making a lot of phone calls right now to see who might be available in a trade, at least short term.
Caught the corner, 0-1 on Blackman.
Especially in what appears to be a very competitive NL West, right? You got to keep up with the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks and the Rockies.
That one missed way outside. And Luke Gregerson, who's going to close for the Cardinals, will be on the DL to start the year with a hamstring, so they'll use a committee. You see Clayton Kershaw finish spring training allowing no earned runs, 21 in the third innings. And Bartolo Colon got released from his minor league deal with the Rangers. Francisco Rodriguez cut loose by the Phillies. One, two. Fastball missed. Another foul.
Tim Lincecum, who signed a deal with the Rangers, will start the year on the DL. He's been dealing with some blister issues, and there was some debate as to whether he'd be ready to go anyway.
Touch to right, but foul. We'll see what kind of a start the Astros get off to. The Cubs got off to that real slow start last year before putting together a great second half following their championship run. Two balls, two strikes on Charlie Blackmon. Fifth inning, 2-0 Cubs. And he got him. Cishek with a 1-2-3. Cubs bat in the fifth, leading 2-0.
Captivating exteriors. Dynamic lighting.
Against the Cardinals, Nationals, and Reds. For more information, visit Cubs.com/destinations.
New pitcher for the Rockies. Right-hander Adam Ottavino wearing number 0.
1.23 ERA through 7 appearances this spring. Ottavino, a veteran, has been around since 2010 when he broke in with the Cardinals.
Crossfire action and a first pitch fastball strike.
Yeah, throws hard, good movement, funky angles.
Hayward fouls out of play. Yeah, I want to send out congratulations to the New Trier girls hockey team that won the state title today.
Way to go.
All kinds of good stuff. 0-2 on Hayward. He's playing center field tonight.
That's one good pitch.
Hayward stays alive. See if he can take advantage. Right in.
I don't know if I liked either call. Well, maybe. This will be a better look.
Yeah, almost always from this angle it looks like a swing.
Yeah, he did.
New Trier, you told me a while back what their nickname was.
Trevians.
Trevians. You know, I mentioned Schwarber with his 17 second-half home runs last year. Baez was among the league leaders, too. He had 13 jacks in the second half.
One-0 pitch, swing and a miss. There aren't too many guys who throw quite like Adam Ottavino does.
Similar to Jake Arrieta in one respect, he starts from the far first base side of the rubber, steps towards the third base dugout, works across his body. It's a different angle than you get from Jake.
Breaking ball. Didn't get that call.
Oh, no.
Mike Montgomery may have been getting pinched a little bit in his outing. So. Perhaps low.
Full count to Baez.
Well, again, this one at bottom of the zone. I'm not sure if it's any better or worse than the previous one.
Shane Livensparger, pitch to pitch, making somebody unhappy. Popped him up. Valleca in foul territory's got it.
Well, it's a great experience for these young umpires, Shane. I don't think he has any big league time. And
not that I'm aware of, no.
I don't know if he'll get any this year. So spring training, an opportunity for the young umpires, too, to gain some experience.
We seem to bring up the topic a couple of times every year now about a potential automated strike zone down the road. Are you of the mind that it is inevitable, whether it's 2, 5, 10 years down the road?
Yeah, I don't know that it's inevitable. I would say it's likely down the road, would be my guess. Is there a difference between likely and inevitable?
I would say
yeah, inevitable is going to happen. Likely is it's probably going to happen. I like to hedge my bets.
Ian Rice is on deck to bat in the pitcher spot for Cishek. Three and one on Victor Caratini.
Well, Joe said it when we were chatting with him. Caratini's a big league hitter. He's ready to be here as a hitter. We saw it last year. We talked about the numbers he put up in the Pacific Coast League.
And he draws the walk with 2 outs. That'll bring up the pinch hitter Ian Rice, catcher by trade. Yeah, the key is, how much time can Caratini get? Now, I will say this, with an extra bullpen arm and only 4 bench players, a decent chance he'll get more pinch hitting opportunities than he would otherwise with 5 guys on your bench. Typically, your backup catcher is kind of the last guy you use off your bench. Joe might be a little more liberal if Schwarber's still in the game to use Caratini. So we'll see. I think the other thing is kind of what Joe said. He earned it, right?
Yeah, and the line Joe always likes to throw out there is, let's watch him play. So put him on the club at the start of the season, see if they can find enough at bats to justify him being here. If it doesn't work out, you make a change.
It also tells you where this club is. If they were not a team that was expected to win, you wouldn't have Caratini sitting on the bench. But it's all about what's best for the 25-man roster, and they believe Caratini on it to start the season is the best way to go.
Ian Rice spent last year at AA Tennessee, batted .230, hit 17 home runs, had an on-base percentage of .353. Had 15 home runs the year before. In A-ball, he's out of the University of Houston. 29th round pick of the Cubs in the 2015 draft.
Go time for Caratini, and Rice fouls out of play. Cubs got 2 on a home run by Anthony Rizzo in the 4th. Swing and a miss. A good breaking ball. And the Cubs done in the 5th. They lead 2-0. Pedro Strop made his Cactus League debut on Thursday evening against the San Francisco Giants and worked a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th. And dealt with a calf issue and illness earlier this spring.
Yeah, the beautiful thing about a reliever is you don't have to build up all those innings to be ready to start the season on time. So looks like he's going to be good to go. He pitched 69 times for the Cubs last year, pitched to a 283 earned run average. Been wearing the Cub blue since trade here in 2013, the Arrieta deal in Strop from the Orioles. And Pedro's been a very valuable piece in the Cubs bullpen.
And a strike on LeMahieu. Rockies were Pedro's original organization. He was originally a shortstop. And while he throws a good slider, he couldn't hit one. That's why he's now a pitcher.
It's good to have options.
He got released at one point by Colorado and hooked on with Texas.
Looks like he's gotten into the hair dye.
A little bit, yeah.
Always with the cap askew.
Now 32 years old, 6'1", 220. And a couple of bounces to Russell. Arenado walked in the first, grounded to short in the third. He's seen a ton of pitches tonight.
Arenado.
So 9 consecutive Rockies retired by Cub pitching. The end of Montgomery's outing, Cishek with a clean inning, and now Strop.
I don't know who it is over on the Rockies dugout or sitting outside their dugout, but every team has a guy. As Bryant will make the play, and you can probably hear him on our field microphones. Come on, Nato. Let's go, DJ. There's always one guy in every dugout who's just kind of cheering everybody on. Come on, Trev.
Yeah, you hear Joe all summer long. You hear Joe. We pick Joe up a lot.
Story with 2 outs takes a strike.
Atta boy.
Just heard it, yeah.
Ooh. Good heater, followed up by an outstanding slide ball. See if he tries a quick pitch him here.
Oh, yeah. All over it. And it worked to perfection. So Strop looks strong. A couple of outings this week. No base runners. 2 zip Cubs. Bunch of changes for the Rockies. Harrison Musgrave, a left-hander, now pitching. Raimel Tapia is in center. Daniel Castro playing short. Derek Gibson at second, and Ryan McMahon is over at third.
Musgrave, you see his spring numbers. He has not pitched at the big league level yet in the regular season. 6'1", 205. He's out of West Virginia. 8th round pick in 2014.
Zobrist reached on an error in the 4th, a rare one by Nolan Arenado, and eventually scored on a 2-run homer by Anthony Rizzo. Zobrist looking for a bounce back year after hitting in the low 230s. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cubs open the year with a 10-game road trip. Home opener will be Monday, April 9th at Wrigley Field against the Pittsburgh Pirates. There are limited seats available, so make sure you check out Cubs.com. That's a strike. 2-2. Slapped on the ground toward first, and it's foul.
Had some funky spin and almost worked its way all the way back into fair territory. But it didn't, and so we're going to do it again. Remember the one last year? Somebody hit almost halfway to the dugout and it ended up in fair territory. It was walking the line there for a little bit.
So 2-2 count. Make it full. He went around. Tony Walters was like, do I have to throw or not? And I guess he did.
Oh, because Zoe thought it was a ball.
And for you young catchers out there, you should probably throw to first and then ask. If you're a catcher, sit around and wait, might be too late. Bryant with a single and a fly out. And he takes a strike, 1-1.
Musgrave played at AAA Albuquerque last year. The year before, he was at AA. You know what their AA club is called?
What's the city?
Hartford.
Oh, are they like the Yard Goats?
They are the Yard Goats.
What is a Yard Goat? Is it a goat that plays in a yard?
Well, and that's what I would have assumed, but we've got a little information to share here. Oh, man, that's another good pitch. Diefensbacher has been a little tight at the bottom of the zone. The hitters would tell me, no, you're wrong. Those are all low.
Three and two.
A yard goat is a rail yard slang for the switch engines or terminal tractors that shuttle train cars between different locomotives.
So a yard goat is neither a goat nor has anything to do with a yard.
But their logo is a goat chomping on a baseball bat.
Okay. Call made by the plate umpire, so Bryant is out. Join NBC Sports Chicago Monday for our next Blackhawks Authentic Fan Night at the United Center. Watch the Hawks take on the Sharks. Stop by section 316 to visit our free photo booth and grab a free Authentic Fan wristband while supplies last. Two outs, sixth inning. Rizzo hit a long home run in the fourth off a left-hander, Jake McGee. Outside for a ball.
Third home run of the spring for Anthony. You can pretty much pencil him in year year out for 30 home runs, 100 driven in. Become one of the most consistent players in the game today. It's always heady stuff for a young guy with no major league experience. Get through spring training work and have to face the likes of Zobrist and Bryant and Rizzo with their resumes.
Three balls and no strikes. Pitches were right around the plate, but all misses. That'll be it for Rizzo. He'll be lifted for a pinch runner. Guessing it's Yasiel Ballagert. But the numbers change. Yeah, it is Yasiel. He's wearing number 3 tonight. So runner at first, and Kyle Schwarber looks at a strike. So Schwarber hit 30 homers. You see, slugged .467. We've seen the Rangers a couple of times this spring. Rougned Odor had a 30 homer season. You know what he slugged?
I'm going to guess it wasn't that high.
.397.
Wow.
So I looked it up. That is the first 30 homer season in Major League history with a sub .400 slugging. It's almost impossible to do that. The reason is he played every day, had a ton of at-bats, and he hit like 200.
Yeah, top of the order hitter, batted .204. 21 doubles, 3 triples, 30 home runs.
Swing and a miss. All the outs were strikeouts. Beautiful night here in Arizona as the Cubs play their final spring home game here at Sloan Park. A few changes for the Cubs, highlighted by Carl Edwards Jr.
Good numbers for Carl this spring. He's pitched 7 times, has a .245 ERA, 7 in the third innings. He has not walked a man, struck out 9.
Cargo is 0 for 2.
We were having a conversation yesterday about players that have been around a long time, and then you look at their bio and see that they're not that old. Cargo's only 32. I would have guessed a little older.
And a nice run with the Rockies.
Speaking of birthdays, Starlin Castro, 28 today.
Well, there's another
guy, yeah.
28.
You know, when he's 34 and he's still in the league, people are going to be thinking, man, that dude is old. He's been around forever.
That's foul to right. Cargo, 3-time All-Star, 3 Gold Gloves, Silver Slugger Award twice. Batting title in 2010, he hit .336.
Has a 40 home run season on his resume.
It's foul to first. His original organization, the Diamondbacks.
And then to Oakland, right?
Yep. Debuted with Oakland and then traded to the Rockies. Swing and a miss. Some high heat.
Yeah, beautiful execution there. The elevated fastball up in the eyes where it looks so tasty, so tempting.
You know what that was? It was some Chris Russo. High heat. Look what he did there. Here's Parra.
Need to get a little headshot of Chris, and every time somebody swings through a high fastball, it just pops up there. And then downstairs to get started. Are you sure? Gerardo giving him the option to change his mind.
But, you know, this is a tough league. As you well know, and as you said, you've got a home plate umpire working with 2 lineups that have been around for a while. And there is no quarter given, right?
No,
like,
no,
hey,
no.
you're new at this.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe at some point, but yeah, they're going to test him. They're going to challenge him. Folks, check out the variety of luxury premier options that Wrigley Field has to offer for your next client, corporate, or family function. Like an all-inclusive suite experience, daily suite rentals are available for the opening week of baseball. For details, visit Cubs.com/premier. Maybe Clark the Cub will poke his head in and say hi.
Good curveball on Valleca.
Yeah, he's executing here tonight.
We've seen Carl throw a changeup on a couple of occasions earlier this spring, but my hunch is it's not a pitch we'll see in the regular season. 1-1. Just dabbling a little bit.
Yeah, Jim Hickey's a big believer in the changeup. He thinks everybody should have that in their toolbox. It's just hard when you pitch in high leverage situations and you're pitching an inning at a time to go out there and work on something. Now, if you were able to get an inning or so, and here and there in a blowout situation, you might be able to play around with it.
Bounced foul. Paid crowd tonight 15,844. So we surpassed yesterday. It's the second largest Cactus League crowd ever and missed the record by 6. Swing and a miss. Over 12,600 in Peoria to see the Cubs and the Mariners. Cubs fans travel well. 2-0 in the.
Hey, welcome back, Cub fans. Show your team pride with Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card. Only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Members FDIC.
2-0 on the Anthony Rizzo fourth inning home run. And Jairo Diaz will work here in the bottom of the seventh.
Jairo wearing number 97 tonight because he forgot his other jersey. 7 appearances, 415 this spring. A little bit of time with the Rockies last year, very little, 4 appearances.
On the side to Russell.
5 innings. He did not pitch in the big leagues in 16. Cup of coffee in 15. And just a wee little cup of coffee the year before that.
That will get into center field for a base hit.
Yep.
Pinch runner now for Russell.
Could be a candidate for comeback player of the year right there. Madison Russell after an off year last year.
Chesney Young.
There you go. That a baby. Way to swing it.
Hayward 0 out of 2. Ground out and a strikeout. The ground out was sharply hit to the pitcher. I saw you were looking at a story about parking in Oakland for the Giants games. Is there an update to that story? Because I saw the original announcement that the A's announced parking for season ticket holders is $10 or whatever. General admission's $30, but if you're a Giants fan, it's $50 unless you say go A's.
Yeah,
and then they'll make it $30.
I'm guessing it's for they do like a Subway Series or a Crosstown Series at the end of spring training every year.
Oh, okay. So it's
I think that's
the Bay
what it's for.
The Bay Bridge
Bridge.
Series.
That's what it would be. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
that's great.
I think it's $30 for A's fans, $50 for Giants fans, unless you yell "Go A's," and then I don't know.
That's great. Why not have some fun with it? 2-1 on Hayward. Well, the story came out this winter that you had to have a Wisconsin mailing address to get Cubs Brewers tickets at Miller Park.
Yeah.
Although if you have a relative in Wisconsin, you could still figure out a way.
Probably
right?
a way to make it work. Yeah.
Oh, JD, I've been meaning to break the bad news to you.
What do you got?
I've waited all spring because I didn't want you to sulk. But when we go to Miami this year, Derek Jeter has gotten rid of the sea crustacean race. So I know that's something you count on every time we go there. High in the air to right. Young will head back to first. Catch is made out there by Drew Weeks.
Drew Weeks. What a killjoy, Derek Jeter.
But
trades Giancarlo Stanton and kills the crustacean race.
But the home run sculpture is still there.
Yeah, because there's some kind of a bureaucratic reason why they can't get rid of it, right? It's a public art, and you can't remove it for some ordinance against removing it.
Baez with 1 out.
Do we know what they're replacing the crustacean race with?
I don't know.
It's top secret. How about Billy the Marlin? Has he been released?
Yes.
He's gone too?
They fired Billy the Marlin. I think they kept the mascot, but whoever was
the guy
inside
was.
Yeah.
Wow, you talk about cleaning house.
Well, instead of the crustacean race, they're just going to show reruns of HR Puffin stuff. That's what really that race looked like to me anyway.
Hunter S. Thompson dream sequence or something.
Good dig by the catcher, and what a throw. Tony Walters just nailed Chesney Young. Backhand pick, and then a pick off.
Well, you talked about his background as an infield. He's got great hands back there, and anytime the ball's in the dirt like that, the base runner's going to get a little anxious for that secondary lead, try to hold his ground to give himself a chance to advance. But when it's picked cleanly, you can be caught a little too far from shore. And great play by the catcher, Walters.
Meanwhile, 3-0 on Baez.
Jairo Diaz is from Venezuela. He's 26. And he's about to throw a 3-0 heater here to Baez. Who did not get cheated. You swing on 3-0, you might as well turn it loose. He takes a big hack.
He's got lots of protection, although where he hit himself was the inside of that left foot. Being checked on by Nick Frangella, who has joined the big league athletic training staff here in 2018. Nick Frangella is in his 15th season in the Cubs organization, and he's now in the big leagues. That's a big deal. I mean, you know, you talk about players who come through the system, broadcasters who come through the minor leagues. 15 years, and here he is.
Yeah,
it's great.
Certainly paid his dues.
Well deserved. So Baez the walk, and he'll come out for a pinch runner. Steven Bruno.
Jairo, he's not afraid to turn it loose when he makes that throw to first base. See a little big Z in Jairo? The way he stands out there? The way
yes, I was thinking exactly that. He's about 5 inches shorter. Even the way he sets.
Maybe if you were to ask him his inspiration was, his pitching heroes, he might say Carlos Zambrano.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he patterned himself after Carlos Zambrano.
Let's go.
I'm guessing he's about 10 or 11 years younger than Big Z.
He is 26.
So he's probably 30, I want to say 36 or 37. Now 3-0. Make it 3-1. And Caratini. I believe it's Trey Martin on deck for Edwards. And back-to-back two-out walks. Steve Foster is the Rockies pitching coach.
Well, he's probably going to tell him, hey, man, just take a deep breath. Looks to me like you're overthrowing, like you're trying to throw 110 miles an hour. Let's just dial it back and get on top, get it down in the zone.
Bud Black, former Major League pitcher. Well, there was a while there where we didn't see a lot of managers who had been pitchers. That has changed. Got Brian Price in our division. John Farrell not currently managing, but have done it a while, among others. Mickey Callaway now with the Mets. Strike called on Trey Martin. Struck him out. A good visit by Steve Foster. Cubs strand a couple, lead 2-0 late.
For game at Wrigley Field, check out all the available transportation and parking options. Cubs offer a free bike check located by the Addison Red Line station. For drivers, the Cubs provide free remote parking and shuttle service on night and weekend games. Information is yours by visiting the A to Z guide at Cubs.com.
This is Kyle Ryan. New battery now. He'll work with Taylor Davis, who's now into catch.
Minor league contract with an invite to spring training for Ryan. He's had big league time with the Tigers in each of the last 4 seasons, albeit not a lot. His big league debut in 2014. 2016 he got a lot of work, 56 appearances.
At what point do I mention the Cubs do not have a shutout this spring?
Should be as good as time as any.
Okay. They've only allowed 2 hits. Singles, Story in the first, Blackman in the third, plus a couple of walks.
14 in a row have been set down. You're talking about pitchers turned managers. Mickey Callaway, when he was hired by the Mets, became the 49th ex-pitcher to manage in the big leagues.
Okay. Is this ex-big league pitchers or just?
Yes, big league pitchers.
Got it. So Brian Price would not qualify. As Ryan makes the play.
Well, now I'm not positive. I think it's Big A.
Okay.
Yeah, it's big league pitchers who have gone on to become big league managers. And probably the most successful of the bunch would be Tommy Lasorda,
Who had a very brief major league career with Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Ryan McMahon. We're looking at him as maybe the everyday first baseman coming into spring training. And then with Cargo coming back, Ian Desmond's going to need to play some first base. 1 ball and 1 strike. McMahon is playing third.
Yeah, so it may be a similar situation with McMahon in Colorado as the Cubs have with Caratini. Will they find enough playing time to justify keeping him in the big leagues?
Well, assuming Desmond's at first a lot, they've got a left-handed hitting outfield and a right-handed hitting infield. On the ground, that's Chesney Young backhanding, and he got him.
Cesaroo. We're going to see it all here as he reacts to this ground ball. Sets the feet. Good strong throw to get his man.
In terms of, position, what position a former player would have played, and then how it translates into becoming a manager, I think a lot of that's been thrown out the window these days. It's just kind of the best fit, how you handle personalities. But in talking to Brian Price a few years ago, he gave me the best answer about a former pitcher. He said, look, I don't relate to position players like ex-position players would, but they don't relate to pitchers like I do. And if they say pitching and defense is
I always
more
thought
of the
that,
game, then
I was always curious of,
right.
And
he said we're a weird group,
yeah.
and so I feel like we should be able to handle that a little bit better.
And if you have a good bench coach, a good hitting coach, and kind of the football model, have an offensive coordinator.
Because in terms of the in-game stuff, much of what you do is figure out how long your starter should go, how to use your bullpen. Off the end of the bat, Martin's got it. Kyle Ryan with a 1-2-3. They're mowing it. Well played game tonight. Cubs pitching has been excellent. And haven't really needed a lot of offense, but Anthony Rizzo provided it with a 2-run homer. And since the bullpen has come in,
you don't need a whole lot when you don't give up any, and the pitching has been outstanding. They threatened Montgomery a couple of times, but he didn't break. 4 scoreless innings, and then perfect work from the bullpen thus far.
Brooks Pounders made his major league debut 2 years ago with Kansas City. Little time with the Angels. From Temecula, California. Bijan Rademacher bounces to second. Gibson will make the play.
So Michigan beat Florida State tonight in a close one. So that's who Loyola will get next.
Ramblers and Wolverines in the Final Four.
John Beeline's group.
Jason Vossler, the batter.
Pounders originally drafted by the Pirates in 09. He's a second-round pick.
He's a big dude, 6'5", 265. Well hit to center. Toppy it back on it. It is gone. A home run. Jason Vossler, who showed the power game last year, hit over 20 in the minor leagues, and it's 3-0.
And 21 long balls for Vossler last year. Boy, pretty swing. It looked like some kind of a split finger pitch, perhaps. Pumps it to straightaway center. Heads up out there.
Slider strike to Ballagher. That's a fair ball, and it will go 3-1. Really concentrate as an infielder on a ball like that, right? Because any bobble, it's probably going to kick away 10 or 20 feet.
Yeah, it's so much English on it.
Chesney Young thought it was his turn, but it's actually Charcer Burks. I'm not sure most home plate umpires even keep track of the lineups in spring training. They will start Thursday, though. One and one the count. We'll see the Rockies relatively early in the season.
When do we see the Rockies?
We see them home and home before May 2nd. Well, on May 2nd will be the final game of the season between these two teams. April 20th through the 22nd at Coors Field, and then Wrigley April 30th to May 2. Laid off that slider. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I chat with Scott Harris the other day. Scott's assistant to the general manager. Yeah. And he made a good point. He said, you know, it's probably a good thing to play contending teams early in the season, because after the trade deadline, there's a good chance that the contending teams are going to be a little bit better than they were early in the year if they, you know, made deals to upgrade.
Called strike 3. Yeah, that is a good point. Couple of homers tonight. Rizzo in the 4th. Vossler going deep in the 8th. Cubs will try to close him out, leading 3-0.
Cub fans, spring training is here, albeit not for long, and on MLB.tv. Watch select spring training games live on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply for regular season games. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Derek Gibson leading off the Rockies' 9th inning. Kyle Ryan with a 1-2-3-8. I think they call him Gibby.
Pretty good chance. Or DG.
Swing and a miss. There was a Derek Gibson, D-E-R-R-I-C-K, an outfielder who played with the Rockies back in the late 90s. That's high. This Derek Gibson is from Delaware. And he's been in the minor leagues for 10 years. And almost 1,000 games. So JD, when we hear later this year, after 1,027 games, Derek Gibson makes his major league debut, we'll remember tonight.
Yep. Well, that's the guy that wore number 88 in spring training. Popped up to second base to start the top of the 9th.
Love stories like that. Perseverance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Played in Lowell, Greenville, Salem, Portland, Surprise, Pawtucket, Norfolk, Bowie, Binghamton, Albuquerque. Pretty well hit, but it should be caught, and it is by Rademacher. And it'll bring up Daniel Castro. Last time we saw him, he was an Atlanta Brave. Wide open stance from the right side. Bounce to third, foul.
This left-hander for the Cubs, Kyle Ryan, 26 years of age, from Auburndale, Florida.
The other Cubs split squad dropped a 7-3 decision to the Mariners in Peoria tonight. Eddie Butler took the loss. He gave up 2 runs in 5 innings. Ian Happ with a leadoff home run, the 7th of the spring. That will get in for a hit. First base runner for the Rockies since the 3rd inning.
Well, pitch was down and away, but a nice job of hitting by Castro.
Snaps a string of 18 consecutive batters retired by Cubs pitching.
Here's a good name.
Correll Prime. It's prime time. Although I am told he is not wearing a prime number.
He is not.
94, swing and a miss. If he were wearing 89, or if he had taken Jairo Diaz's 97, that'd be different. Oh, an opportunity missed, Correll.
That wasn't really a prime cut either, that last pitch.
1-2. 12th round pick out of Bradenton, Florida, 2012. I guess if someone told a joke at his expense, would it be a prime rib? Knocked down by Davis. Chicago area native on deck, Mike Tauchman. Fouled off to the right. The count. A very short lead over there, but Ryan checks on Castro anyway.
And Ryan drafted and signed by the Tigers at the age of 18, started his professional career in 2010, and has had very good control.
3-0 on a couple of home runs. Rizzo and Vossler for the Cubs. Another foul. Another 3-2. This time he got him.
Had to work for it, but finally got his strikeout, his first. Good breaking ball. Moving down and in under the hands.
So it's up to Mike Talkman, who's from Palatine, Illinois. Went to Friend High School and then Bradley University. Made his big league debut last season. He's had a nice spring. Cubs and the Royals tomorrow, and then off to Florida. Cubs will be in the Sunshine State for a week. 2 exhibitions against the Red Sox, off day, and then 4 to start the season against the Marlins.
Down on their feet.
Castro will take second base. I'm giving him a stolen base because it's spring training. I'm not defensively indifferent.
If there's defensive indifference during the regular season, how indifferent is it during spring training?
Let's see if there's a play. Vossler, and it's caught by Burks from left. Cubs win. Cubs win, and they shut out the Colorado Rockies 3-0 on just 3 hits tonight. And a pretty good lineup for much of the game in terms of big league experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Well-pitched game really on both sides. Only 7 hits total in the ball game. Rockies had 3, Cubs had 4, but 2 of the Cubs left the ballpark, and with this outstanding performance by the pitching staff, that's all they needed.
So that's it for our spring training coverage. We'll have lots more to come in the regular season starting next weekend. For JD, for Jim Angio, Michelle Godwin, Chris Kampka, our tech manager Mark Harper, our executive producer Greg Bowman, Len Casper saying so long. Final score, Cubs 3, Rockies nothing. This has been a presentation of NBC Sports Chicago.